Guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I got a message from a woman, right? And she said to me that she's kind of confused. She's a young girl. She's only like in her 20s, and she was 22. And she said that she's really confused because nowadays it seems like everybody's playing. Men are playing, women are playing, people lying, infidelities, cheating, behind the scenes, going back to exes. Like it seems to her like everybody is playing some kind of a treacherous, dishonesty, deceptive kind of game. And what she said to me is she doesn't understand how can you date and navigate through all of the players to meet the people that are really true. So, of course, in my opinion, it works better, first of all, to use the law of attraction. If you really understand the law of attraction, you can draw the right people, trustworthy friends, trustworthy lovers to you in the first place. So people with those deceptive, treacherous, nasty tendencies won't even really be drawn to you. So that's first and foremost. You can work it that way. That's probably the spiritual way that'll help you out the most. Another thing I've noticed that is more practical is that everybody, think about times you've been played or people who got played that you know. It wasn't that they were stupid in most cases. It wasn't that they didn't see it coming in most cases. It was the fact that they really played themselves. Because if you think about it, anybody that you ever were in that kind of a situation with, including myself, you got all kinds of warning signs. You got all kinds of red flags that you blew past. So I would say the second most important thing is don't ignore your intuition and red flags. I think we all got them. And in most cases, when I read somebody's cards and they've been taken advantage of, they've been played by a lover, something like that has happened, there was always a point, usually in the beginning, when they knew something wasn't right and moved forward anyway. That's why I think we really play ourselves, because the other person is being their manipulative self. That's who they're going to be. But the universe warns us. It gives us these red flags. It gives us these warning signs. When you were sitting next to her and her phone went off and she snatched it real quick, that was a warning sign. When he lied to you and didn't show up when he was supposed to show up and then showed up with a cockamamie story, that was your warning sign. We all get them, and we usually get them in the first 3 months. And then we blow past them, and 2-3 years later, we're like, oh, I got played. No, you played yourself. Because had you had heeded the warnings that the universe gave you, that your gut instinct gave you, you wouldn't be in that position. And we all, not most of us do that. I think I've never met a person who didn't have some accountability in that scenario. And usually it's just that they allowed it to go on. They knew it wasn't right and they allowed it to go on anyway. With me, the one time I was majorly played, you guys know, was Voldemort. If you guys don't know the story, go search for who is Voldemort under Ask an Aquarius and you'll hear my whole sordid tale. Now, every time I look back on it, I remember from the first encounter, my stomach always hurt when I was around Voldemort. No other time. And at first I didn't say anything. And then I started to actually say it because it was very nagging. And I was like, my stomach is killing me. And he'd be like, why? And I'd be like, I don't know. And then after a while, I'd be like, I think it's you. And he would be like, what do you mean me? And I'm like, I don't know. So he knew what it was. He knew that I was getting a gut instinct about him. So what did he do? He started to deflect and started to be, oh, that's not what it is, and come up with all these things. Because I was saying, I think it's you. I think something's wrong here. And he kept on telling me, it's not that, it's this and that, it's blah, blah, blah. And I knew he was full of shit. I knew that what he was telling me didn't add up to what I was feeling. But I also knew that I wanted to maintain the relationship. I liked seeing him. I liked his company. I liked our sex. I liked our fun. So I blew past my own soul. The Egyptians say that your soul is located behind your belly button. My own soul is aching, is throbbing, is warning me, and I'm ignoring it because I'm lonely, because I want to spend time with somebody. You see? So it wasn't like the other person, like, it's like they do lie to you, they do manipulate you, they do abuse you, but you have to take accountability for the fact that you allowed it to happen. In most cases, I've never seen a case where it didn't. I'm waiting to see one, you know? But everybody always tells me in hindsight, they remember this happening, they remember that happening. Oh, I remember the time when he didn't come home till 3 o'clock in the morning and he told me his car broke down. Okay. And the whole story didn't add up. How'd he get home then? Oh, well, he said that he took the train or something like that. Well, how'd he get his car back? I don't know. I never really asked him. You know, stuff like that. And why didn't you ask? Because you knew the answer. You didn't want to deal with the answer is what it was, because it meant you would have to probably walk away from a deceptive person who you're getting something from that you want to keep going. So don't do that to yourself. That's the biggest thing I see with a lot of people, is that right there. The other thing, people move too fast. How you going to get to know somebody and know if they're a snake and you moving so fast? You know, and I did this too. You meet somebody, like I hear people all the time meeting people on Tinder. For us, it was the party line. It's all the same thing. You meet somebody at a bar, you meet somebody at the party line, you meet somebody at a cooking class, you meet them somewhere. By the next day, y'all hanging out. By the end of the week, y'all being intimate. Where they do that at? You know, and that's what's happening in our dating game, I'm going to call it. In contemporary times, that's what happens. We don't get to know the person. That's why I always tell you guys to go by the 90-day rule. Be platonic for 90 days. Get to know them. Go places with them. Talk about their life. See how they tick. Ask them questions. Play little games, you know. They have all these little dating games now where you ask each other questions and see how each other thinks and ticks. You know? Spend 90 days doing that. Invest 90 days into doing that. And you'll get a chance to see the person for who they really are without the clouding of hormones and energy from sex, which is going to cloud your judgment every time. You see? So people move so fast. When I was young, the elders would always tell you about that. And everybody's always so quick to be in love. And, you know, we all just move too fast. You got to slow down. And that's another thing that's going to help you from getting played, because if you slow down, in most cases, if the person is a real creep, they're not going to be able to hide it. So if they're a real creep and you slow down, by that second week, third week, fourth week, you should start to see those red flags I'm talking about. And you just start checking them off the list. Like, okay, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. I'm out. I'm out. And leave, cut it, and go right then and there. But we don't do that. We stay too long at the fair, and we give them the benefit of the doubt, which I think is the worst thing you can do in dating. We give them the benefit of the doubt, and then find out 6 years later we were right about what we thought in the first 2 weeks. You know? And that's what happens with most people who come to me with these scenarios. So if you're out there in the streets trying to date, I think that's wonderful. I just think that you need to be careful. Okay? You got to use your law of attraction to draw good people to you. You got to slow yourself down and get to know them before you take it to levels of intimacy. Intimacy is a really big step. Sex, kissing, hugging, cuddling, all that, that's a big step. So the further away you push that, the better. If you can do 90 days or more, that's good. You know? Because in those first 90 days, the whole purpose is to really dig deep and see this person without a clouded mind. Okay? So remember what I said. Don't doubt yourself. If you see something wrong, head for the hills immediately. And even if you're not certain, like with my stomach hurting, I didn't have to know why my stomach was hurting, because that's what I was looking for, was why do my stomach hurt whenever I see this man? That's what I wasn't connecting. It didn't matter why. Your stomach is hurting. Every time he comes around, something is wrong. Leave him alone. That's what I would do now. But 20-something-year-old me blew past it. 20-something-year-old me was like, well, and kept on going for 2 years with somebody who's a narcissistic jerk. So I did that to myself. Yeah, he was a narcissistic jerk. Yeah, he was abusive. But I wasn't loving myself enough to escape a person I knew was a narcissistic jerk. I didn't know the full extent of it, but I knew something was wrong. And I wasn't loving myself enough to let that be enough for me to escape. Don't make that same mistake. Don't go through, don't trade places or what I've been through, okay? That's the one reason why I'm here, so you won't go through what I went through. So that's the way to keep yourself from getting played. If you do those 3 things consistently, you will have the best results in the dating game. Okay, guys? All right, it's time for me to get going. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anybody who's dating and tell them I said, check this out. Male or female, check this out, because it's deceptive men and it's deceptive women out there. I'm also going to leave all of my personal information so you can contact me. If you want me to do a reading for you, email me. If you have a question, email it or drop it underneath this video. I'm also going to leave my social media, and I'll leave my PayPal if you want to leave a love donation, and my wish list if you want to check out the gifts that I'm looking at and wishing for. All right, guys. See you later.